It was mostly me being annoying and saying, let's have a public hearing, just because.
It's all good. I think it's good. We want to make sure we have ample opportunity to comment.
Yeah, I'd rather overkill it than be accused of hiding it and blah, 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 which they'll say anyways, so it doesn't matter. Shouldn't say that, but it's true.
And don't worry, I won't ask for a show of hands for everyone that's read the whole thing cover to cover. All right.
I've read it.
All right.
Hi,
What does it
Lisa.
say
Are
on
you
page 7?
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
So I got my second COVID shot today.
Oh, how are you feeling?
I think I'm getting sick because every second I'm going, do I feel
Yeah.
anything yet? Do I feel anything?
Trick apparently is to drink lots of fluids and eat a lot too.
Oh, good. Great.
Did you have a hangover? Oh, you mean water?
Water, yeah, hangover, you won't notice. You don't feel well.
But he did say eat a lot, so I can eat whatever I want tonight.
It lasts about 6 to 12 hours, David.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing.
David, which do you have, Moderna or Pfizer?
Moderna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be worse, I think.
Oh, really? That's what I got. That was my first one. So my
Oh,
second
what?
one will be worse.
Yeah, just don't plan on anything.
That's what everyone says. My parents had it and they had no reaction to either one. So, but they say that in really old people, and they're in late 80s, 90s,
They don't react, right?
they don't react. So,
Yeah, I've heard that.
Now, Alan Lowe had it and knocked him out, the second shot.
oh yeah.
Well, at least he said it knocked him out because he missed the planning committee meeting where we went over the budget. So,
Oh, that's where he was.
yeah.
Hmm.
All right, we'll get started in a minute here.
Looks like it's going to be a short meeting.
Hey, David, how you doing?
Are we ready to go live while we're waiting?
Yeah, we can. That's fine.
Let me log in here.
All right. Well, if there's no objections, I'll just kind of get started. I'm just introducing the meeting at least, and if we have people come in, we'll make sure that they have an opportunity to be heard. But thank you all for coming. I appreciate you getting together. I know we had a couple meetings. We sort of introduced the initial strategic plan draft in October. We also did it again at last month's meeting, sort of the updated and revised. We had a number of comments that were received from the city staff that we addressed and wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page if we're moving toward adoption. And the suggestion was made to have a public hearing. That's what we're here for tonight. So I'll just kind of, since there's been a number of presentations and a number of you have already seen sort of the dog and pony show related to the strategic plan, I'll kind of give a Cliff Notes version of what we developed and what we did over the past year here, trying to align our internal operations and our strategic vision for the future for the next 5 years. Obviously internal to the agency, but also with the city. So the process by which we followed is we did sort of more internalized public outreach, really focused around existing projects, kind of taking an inventory of all the different projects that are ongoing at the city and trying to figure out what's what made the most sense for the redevelopment to take the lead on, or that was, with the city's reorg, what made the most sense for them to, take the lead from a project management perspective. So we did a comprehensive inventory of every project under the sun that's been included in the POCD, the transportation, plans that are available, and other infrastructure documents, and try to carve out a position for redevelopment and sort of define the role of redevelopment, which was the key, task as part of this exercise. From there, once we've identified all the projects, we worked with our committees. So a number of committee members are here today. We had a community advisory committee from council leadership, and also a technical advisory committee with city staff, where we sort of combed through the projects, identified priorities within those larger lists, and then had a real honest and hard discussion about division of responsibilities and how best we can move forward together. The last chapters of the strategic plan, for those of you that had a chance to take a look at it, chapters 4 and 5, really set the groundwork for the actionable projects that we'll be working on over the next 5 years. So if you reference chapter 4, there's a lot of prioritization of those projects. And then chapter 5 is exclusively focused on performance monitoring. I think that's going to be a big focus of the agency moving forward. Now that we sort of have laid out what projects make sense for us, we want to make sure that we're reporting to you all and to these committees and to everyone moving throughout the strategic planning period, all the way through 2025, our progress on that. And it's going to be a real integral role of how the agency operates. It's going to be an integral role of how we're doing our, redoing our websites. We're going to want to create dashboards to kind of, allow you to have insight into how we're making progress on the strategic plan, so it doesn't just die with adoption, that it is the living document that we hope to create. So with that sort of general introduction, we wanted to just offer an opportunity for if there's any comments that anyone in this group would like to make in regards to the plan. Again, we're not taking any action tonight. This is really a listening session, so anything and everything is welcome. And then hopefully moving for consideration of adoption at next Tuesday's board meeting. So we'll let you, anyone that would like to speak, please feel free. And we could, you could just raise your hand in Zoom if that is something that you would like to do.
Gone through this? Hoping to hear more from the public.
I don't think we have any other representatives other than committee members.
We have Lisa Shanahan.
Hi, guys. I'm here.
Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
Well, thanks, Brian. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Thanks for doing this. I have to leave a little bit early because I've got a land trust meeting, so then I'll catch you on YouTube later.
Okay, then it's up to you to ask the question. No, none, Lisa?
No questions yet.
Yeah, so we just provided just an overview of this introduction to the strategic plan. And Lisa, what we were trying to do is just offer one opportunity before we move toward adoption next week. If there's any comments or any thoughts on the strategic plan that was circulated. So there's not much by way of a program in that regard, but we're open to any comments that you may have or anyone else in the group. All right, well, hearing none, I don't know if you want to move or if there's anything that any questions that anyone may have in regards to it. And I assume that you all were able to download it through the links and everything. It's a pretty large file. Oh, you got a hard copy. Where'd you get that thing?
I'll throw something out there, Brian, just as a question about, how, when you guys were working through this, what was your evolutionary thought on it? Looking at Norwalk, looking at historical, documents of this nature, and where you sort of arrived today. What was sort of the overarching thing that made this happen?
Yeah, well, I think that's a great question. One of the sort of steps of evolution, I think, that occurred in the process, when we started the process, we wanted to take a look at existing plans and kind of get a static snapshot of where we were at to start with, and then move it through the committee process. And through that committee process is kind of where I think the role of redevelopment really took its form, because we had open discussions, that we were all involved with at some capacity, over what projects were most important, but maybe what projects weren't included in an existing plan that redevelopment could help with. So one of the biggest ones, I think, was in terms of this economic impact analyses and modeling. I think that a lot of it derives just sort of from my background in our interest area, to help be able to do assessments for the city when you have a development project, so that we could help project the economic impacts and potential benefits, because that's not a service the city currently has. So I think where we were able to find these gaps, we were able to try to help fill them, and they're detailed in the other report. And I think that represents the evolution of the agency that occurred through this plan. Thanks for the question. So like I said, we're going to have another, the actual adoption we're looking to do, obviously next Tuesday at the meeting. So there'll be another opportunity for public comment. We're making sure that that gets distributed as well in a similar manner. But like, this is I guess the third public session that we've had on this. So I think, we just want to make sure that we get as much feedback as we can before we move towards adoption.
Seeing none.
I guess that encompasses
Well,
everything.
you know, the thing that I've said this in other meetings that I've been president when we talked about, you know, the different TODs that we're dealing with in that, and the overarching thing, and I know you touch on it in here, but it's something that I think is vastly important, and it's the connectivity and the walkability of these different areas. When you look at that map, being able to go from the Wall Street area all the way down through South Norwalk into the other areas as they develop, that it's important that we have that connectivity, because I think that's going to be the lifeline and the continuation for Norwalk, and I think that's important, and I think you're addressing it here, but I think that it needs to be the driving force that's my opinion on it. But I like that you're on that path.
Great. Yeah, and I totally agree. You know, I think as you notice, one of the way we sort of structured the strategic plan was around these 3 task areas. So you have the community and business services, which is our more sort of, you know, typical social service, social support, but a large portion of it was infrastructure and technology, exactly to your point. So that's definitely gonna be a driver.
It's important that our communities are connected, that we're not disparate, and I think that's that you're speaking to that with this plan, and I think that's important. So.
Great. Okay, great. Any other comments or questions from any of the committee members or board members or members of the public? Do we have any? All right. Well, with that, I think we can entertain a motion to adjourn, and I think Lisa can make her meeting. Should we
Make that motion.
All right, sounds
I'll
good.
second it.
All right, sounds good.
All in favor?
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Enjoy your evening.
Bye-bye.
You
Right,
guys have
everyone.
good meetings.
Like that.
Love it.
This went on for a while.
All right, have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
David.